Wait, what? Oh. I didn't realize I left the stream on private. Well. There we go. Now it's working. Well, that was quick for getting a submission in, so we can get started. So 7950X3D, 6200, 283535. Oh, this is a really, this is a rather strong kit of memory that this works at 1.43. Wait, why is is the voltage readout bugged out? Because why are these two so low? Oh, ASRock board. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, 35, 35, 30, 30, 60, 4, 8, 16, 2, 12, 48, 372, 4, 2, and then all the dual rank timing set to 1, and then refresh, multi-rank timing set to 1, and refresh interval at 65,000. Yeah, this looks good. I'm maybe a little bit surprised that, with that low an SoC voltage, you aren't trying to run 6400 instead of 6200, but, yeah. Good timings. Pretty typical Hynix E-die stuff, but yeah. I mean, this is about as tight as it can get, but... Anyway, next submission. Well, that didn't work. So what did I screw up? Okay, that worked. CPU posts up to 8400 or 6600 1.1, but it's only benchmark stable-ish. $8,400 shouldn't require very high SoC voltage. That's just like a thing that motherboards do where they default to very high voltages. Anyway, so we've got 8,000, 38, 48, 48, 38, 48, 86, 410, wait, 24? Oh yeah, 24 gigabit. 410, 16, 216, 48, 660, 61. That is a really, really low read-to-read SCL for 8,000. I am very surprised that that is working. I wouldn't even really expect that to post. So that's impressive. And this is on a B650M-HDV. Well, that'll be interesting once I get around to testing my HDV. Because I've not, I've seen a lot of impressive stuff from the HDV from other people. I've not experienced impressive stuff with my HDV. So I don't know, maybe ASRock finally, the BIOS got better, but I've kind of suspected that there might be, different PCB revisions for that board. But yeah, that is... And then, of course, 65,000 refresh interval, so... Yeah, that is an impressive setup. If you can't get 6400... Oh, really? I mean, 1.18... Maybe try more VDDQ and VDDIO? Because, like, yours are really, really low. Man, that didn't work for some reason? Is it, like, private? Yeah, no, that one doesn't work. What do you mean, is audio bad? Is it, like, low or something? Will you test dual rank on the HDV? Probably not, because it's a pain. Why is the 6-layer MOBO so good? Because it doesn't have extra memory slots. Anyway, I'll just grab one of the other submissions. Intel says no, more Ryzen, of course. And another 9800X 3D. So this time, X670E Asus board running 6200 on 2x32. 1.25 SoC. Yeah, so this isn't, like, if you actually need that SoC voltage for 6200, this isn't going to do 6400 ever. And then we got 20, 36, 36, 32, 30, 62, 4, 8, 20, 4, 14, 48, 444, 44, 12, 16, and we also have 6688 on the dual rank timings. Yeah. So this looks good. You might be able to, like, I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure if this is actually going to work, but there have been some submissions where people managed to run lower dual rank timings than my, like, default of 6688. The thing is, I've not, I don't have that much experience with dual rank, and I only have one 2x32 gig kit. Actually, I also only have one 2x48, so, yeah. I'm not sure, like, maybe that's like a kit-to-kit difference or something, though I'm not sure that I'm pretty sure on the 2x32 gig kit, I did try running 4.4, and it just didn't want to. Anyway. Yeah, this all looks good. So, ooh, there's a super chat. So let's grab that. Can you recommend an ITX board for AM5? I can't because I've tested exactly one of them, and the one I have tested, I don't particularly, like, well, yeah, I don't particularly love it. So it's like it's fine. Like, basically, I like the memory overclocking on it, and then I basically don't like a lot of the other stuff about it. And it's also way too damn expensive. So, you know. Good IMC for 1-to-1 mode. Whoa. Wait, this is not minimized? This might do like 6700 on 1.3. That's insane. This does 6400 at less voltage than some chips need for 6000, and most chips in my experience need more voltage than this for 6200. You're not in... No, it is 1-to-1 mode, but that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that is completely insane. This could probably run 6000 at, like, 0.9 or something. Whoa. So the thing about gear down mode is it's not really that much about the memory controller, at least as far as I know. It's mainly about the command alignment being correct. Because gear down mode just is gear down mode is basically just giving the memory extra time to reliably register commands. So being able to run without it basically just means that the command alignment is like done properly, which a lot of motherboards don't do. That's similar to why like on say certain Intel platforms or like certain Intel motherboards, you can't do 1T command rate at high frequencies because the commands just aren't lined up properly for one tick, like reliably registering them in one cycle. But yeah, this is an insane memory controller. I do kind of wonder if your really loose RDRD-SCL isn't kind of assisting that super low SoC voltage, but even then, like, this is completely insane that this can work. I'd love to see what this CPU can do at 1.3 volts. Like, just like with BCLK to just push it as far as it goes on 1.3, I'd be very interested to see that. Because I would expect this to be like well over 6600. I don't think it would do 6800, but like 6700 or something, I think that could be a thing with a CPU like this. I have the X870 Hero and tried 8000 with two 7950Xs. So one thing I've kind of noticed is that I think with this 9000 series, there has been some, I'm not sure if there's actual changes in like the packaging, because that's been my suspicion, because you'll notice that when you run 9000 series, though the thing is there's also some changes to the AGSA. So like AMD has just given up on any more memory controller tuning on the AGSA level for 7000 series. So basically, if the motherboard vendor didn't have proper 8000 support on X670, X870 isn't going to do anything about it. So like a good example is the Tomahawk, right? With the 9000 series CPUs, it actually kind of runs 8000. I haven't like fully tested it for stability yet. But with 7000 series, it maxes out at 7800. And it's like, and that's kind of that. And the Hero is kind of the same thing where it's just like, yeah, with 7000 series, it's worse. 7000 series also just uses completely different resistances, probably because it has a completely different, like, the memory controller trains very differently. There could also be some packaging differences, like the actual substrate for 9000 series could just be a bit better or something. And so consequently, for 7000 series, you basically need to, like, X870, in my opinion, doesn't make sense for 8000 series. I mean, 7000 series chips, because I don't think there's any actual extra optimizations on X870 for 7000 series. Anyway, so now that I'm done being amazed by this insane CPU, let's move on to the next super chat. Fully stress tested TRCD. What is this? Intel, is it? Whoa, okay, 8400. With the classic Intel owner stress testing of like, it ran 4 minutes, but trust me, it definitely is fully stable. Like, if the stress test you're gonna include in the screenshot is gonna be 4 minutes, why even include it? You know? Like, at this point, it just looks like, I don't, like, why even bother? This is functionally like not having like, I'm not saying you didn't stress test this. I'm just saying if you're sending a screenshot where the stress test is running for 4 minutes, it doesn't matter that it's there. But anyway, 8400, 3649, 1649, 61, 2T, 8A, so A-die, 512, yeah, definitely A-die. TWR at 27, it's interesting, 18, 8, 20, 16, 8, 64, 48. Yeah, timings look good. This isn't even running, oh, it's one, yeah, but that's still not like crazy memory voltages or anything. And like CL36 at 8400 is honestly rather tight. So, yeah, that's fast. E-core's on, HT off. Yeah, so that, like the main benefit to turning off the hyperthreading is it significantly reduces the peak thermal density of the P-cores, which is probably why Arrow Lake gets such good temperatures, right? Like a lot of, like, I'm not sure if that was like a big focus, but I feel like that was a thing that was mentioned that like, oh yeah, Arrow Lake doesn't run so hot. And it's like, yeah, because you're not stuffing like 30% more work through the same silicon, right? Because that's what hyperthreading basically does, is it takes unused circuitry and just shoves more work through it. And then it's like, yeah, temperatures go up when you do that. Because the thermal, like you're not actually adding extra logic. You're just taking logic that would have been idle and not producing any heat and making it not idle, producing more heat. So yeah, that's like the main upside to turning off hyperthreading, is that it just brings down your P-core temperatures. And unfortunately, this is like one of those high-speed Intel setups, so I can't really say much about it because I can't get this kind of stuff to work at all. And we got a lot of super chats today. So anyway, next one. We've got VDDIO readout is bugged. Yep, that's pretty common, especially once you go above 1.4 volts. I'm assuming this is an ASUS board. Yep, this is an ASUS board, and we got 1.6 VDD. That is interesting that your VDD isn't bugged. But yeah, 1.6 VDD, 1.4 VDDQ, 1.45 IO, so reasonable voltages as far as I'm concerned. 9800X3D running 8200, and yeah, 2200 FCLK, 2050 UCLK, 3446, so A-die? Yeah, A-die. 34, 46, 46, 40, 48, 88, 66, 24. That, as far as I know, doesn't work in 2-to-1 mode. You can't actually have TRRDs of less than 8. I need to come up with like a good proof of that, because basically so the reason I say that is that I heard from somebody else who did some testing on this that if you have like a memory kit that in 1-to-1 mode can't run TRDS8, if you switch to 2-to-1 mode, you can run 4, because 2-to-1 mode doesn't support 4 or 6 or anything less than 8, which actually probably explains was it this one? Because earlier somebody today posted a screenshot of a 2x24 setup. I think it's this. Yeah, because you can see like TRDS at 6, and for 24 gigabit M-die, like low TRD is generally really difficult to do. Wait, no, this is 1-to-1 mode. There was a 2-to-1 mode setup where it was like 410. That 4 was probably getting auto-corrected to 8. Not that it makes a difference, like, it's not going to ruin your performance, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably going on here, is that this is getting auto-corrected to 8.8. And then the TFAW doesn't really matter if it's 32 or 20 or whatever. Well, as long as it's not more than 32, it doesn't matter. Yeah, 424. That WTRL is kind of surprisingly loose. But I've not had like much success running A-die at 8000 yet, so yeah, I can't comment on that too much. TRFC at 492, so 120 nanoseconds, 8-1, and then dual rank timings multi-rank timings basically turned off, and TREFI at 65,000. Yeah, so this all looks good. We do have memory temperatures. And kind of a lot of memory cooling, I guess, because 40 degrees Celsius is quite low. .600 series boards get the same AGSA for 9000 series? Yeah. With Intel, you always want to push the memory speed as high as possible. Like, there's no, like, Intel's memory controller never synchronizes anything to anything. It's permanently in 2-to-1 mode, and basically you just want as much memory speed as possible. You don't have that weird, like, step effect with Ryzen where it, like, you get, like, a nice ramp in increasing performance in 1-to-1 mode, and then you hit the end of 1-to-1 mode, performance falls off a cliff, and then it, like, starts climbing back up again. And then around like 7600 to 7800 it catches up to 1-to-1 mode, and then 8000 and up it like surpasses 1-to-1 mode. You don't get that with Intel. It just keeps going, like, it keeps getting progressively faster as you push the memory speed up. Anyway, there's another super chat. Wait, this screenshot has like a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, we have a latency from Clam Bench. This is a proper memory test in like compared to IDA. And then we have PyPrime. Unfortunately, I don't know what a good result for PyPrime is with a 9800X3D. So it's the one issue with like the funny thing is with IDA, you still have that problem because different architectures get different latencies, right? Like Skylake CPUs get way lower latencies than literally everything else in IDA. So it doesn't really, like, so the appeal of, like, well, IDA says that something has 60 nanoseconds and something has 30 nanoseconds is like, yeah, except like Skylake, which can get 30 nanoseconds in IDA, gets absolutely rolled in any real world benchmark these days. Whereas PyPrime kind of has this, like, in a way, kind of has a similar problem. It's not as synthetic because this is actually doing some calculations. But like PyPrime makes all Ryzen CPUs look really, really bad. Even though like a 9800X, well, the 9800X3D and the 7800X3D look better in PyPrime than all of the other Ryzens do. But like looking at PyPrime scores, you wouldn't assume a 9800X3D is just going to destroy everything in gaming, which it does. So, yeah, that's like one of that's just a general issue with memory latency testing is just it's such a, like, the scenario of when that latency happens and how is like almost as like it's just a really awkward thing to test. So anyway, let's move on to that next super chat. Got a, oh boy, that PyPrime is actually, well, so this I'm pretty sure is really slow. Let me quickly check. I haven't actually run PyPrime on my 9950X yet. But this looks bad. I feel like even on a 7950X you can get low 9 seconds for 2 billion. So 11 is kind of forever. Oh wait, this is a 5950X. Oh, okay, no, that's probably correct then. I can't read. All right, PyPrime is listed as a, oh man, I hate that so much. How PyPrime is listed as a memory benchmark when it's like a very memory-bound CPU benchmark. If you want to share screenshots, you need to do this, by the way. Like, YouTube doesn't allow you to send links, which is why the instructions are so convoluted. Oh, okay, I see it now. Man, why the YouTube chat system is awful. Anyway, so we've got 3933 on what is this? Oh, 2x32. Hynix of some kind or Micron? Hynix. That TRC is too low to be Micron. Yeah, 18, 8, 21, 21, 31, 52, 4, 4, 16, 2, 9, 10, 608, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6, 6. Yeah, looks good. So I'm not really sure what's up with that pipe rhyme score. You might not be running it properly. The idle latency looks okay. Yeah, so this looks good to me. Any tips for Z7i Edge to get voltage more in line? I am not dealing with that right now. Anyway, why isn't it working again? Oh boy, I'm not pronouncing that name. Anyway, the only member of the channel, I'm pretty sure. You need to set, like, I think your link might be set to private or something, because I can't open it. Yeah, it doesn't work. So, you might have to change something about that. How to deal with boot-to-boot instability running 8000 on what, AM5 or Intel? Because I think for both of them, actually, my solution would be to give up and run a lower speed. Newlings have to use /A. No, they don't. I am not sure. Like, some people send links that require a /A, and some people send links that don't. And I don't know why. And I think it's something about how you submit the image to Imgur, and there's but I don't know. Like, what is going on with that? Because, yeah. Oh, we have timings for this. Yeah, but this is 4000, and you're on B-die. That's basically cheating for Pi Prime. Also, you're at 5.1 on the CPU, which helps. So, like, yeah, I think 11 seconds is about right for a, like, stock, what was it? Stock 5950? Yeah, stock 5950X, I'm assuming, with, you know, dual rank Hynix memory. Like, that's just not going to be that's just not going to be super fast in something like Pi Prime, because, well, it's just kind of slow compared to something like B-die. Also, you're running this at some, like, pretty high voltages, considering that's 4000 CL13. I wasn't logged in and got a /A link. Yeah, I don't know how Imgur works. I just know it's like a free image hosting option, so that was because I don't have a better way of like solving the submission problem. I'm not making a website for handling submissions. Anyway, I'm gonna try that. Oh, now it works. Yeah, so it is like, so people like apparently you do need to do something about like setting the link public or something. Because yeah, now this worked. So we have a submission from the channel's only member because I've finally turned on submissions. No, you don't have to run through Piperime. Piperime is just a benchmark. It's not a stress test. It's just for getting like some idea of how fast the memory is. Anyway, so 9800X3D, X870-A, and we got 6200, 30, 38, 38, 38, 30, 68, 8, 10. This is E-die. You shouldn't have to run it at 810. Like, it should be able to work at 8.8. Yeah, this is like 24 gigabit TRFC as well. So, you should be able to lower TRFC. You should be able to lower TRP. The SCLs, I don't really see a problem with that. That SOC voltage is unfortunate if it's minimized. Oh, Zen Timing's got an update, so we actually see the pull up, pull down values. Wait, but we only see it for proc ODT. That's like... But yeah, so most, like, and then WTR, like, yeah, so basically I'd lower the TRFC on this, because if this is E-die, which I suspect that it is, you should be able to run TRFC at like 420 or something instead of 550. I mean, you're at 65,000 refresh intervals, so that's not going to make that much of a difference. Same thing for the TRDL adjustment, actually. Like, instead of 81032, running 8832 is, like, not going to be that much faster. Though, this could probably run, like, 4820 or something. Or 6624 is also a potential option for E-die. Did 1.22 SoC, it wouldn't post. Okay, yeah, then you just got really unlucky on that CPU. Oh well. And you're on 64 gigs, so technically, like, 2x32 can sometimes go pretty high in 2-to-1 mode, but it's a pain, and I don't know how. So, I'm not gonna suggest that you try that, because I literally don't, like, I've not been able to run dual rank above like 6800, I think, with Ryzen yet. I also didn't put that much time into it, but yeah. Yeah. Can 9800X3D not do higher FCLK? For 6200, I mean, you could try like 2166 and 2200. It might work. But the thing is, the FCLK doesn't boost the performance that much on 9000 series and 7000 series. And it doesn't make sense, like, for 6200, it doesn't make sense to run something like 2133. Though, I would imagine 2166 probably does work. So, you could try that, and it'll be, like, a little bit faster. Couldn't even do 1-to-1 6400 at 1.29. Well, if you need 1.24 to run 6200, obviously it's not gonna do 6400 at 1.3. Oh yeah, actually you could try set the nitro timings to 120. That helps with performance a bit. Unfortunately, you need to kind of dig through the BIOS to find those settings. Anyway, there's another super chat, so I'll go grab and take a look at that. Your link doesn't work again. Wait. What is up with that dash? Like, is that supposed to be there or what? No, I guess not. For 1-to-1 mode, it's actually the 2x32 is actually kind of better than 2x24. For like 2x24 is easiest for 2-to-1 mode. At least on Asus boards. I've not like tested this extensively. I kind of suspect MSI's M-die support is worse than their E-die support. Yeah, I can't get that link to work. How do people manage this? I don't get it. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Oh, you sent it again. Okay, cool. So what do we have here? Oh, a 5950X, 3800. Oh no. No. What even is this? Well, it's a Corsair. That's a Corsair part number, right? Like that's yeah, that is a Corsair part number. Do you know what version number is on the sticks? Yeah, I'm also guessing some form of Hynix, but since it's Corsair, they can actually like get proper detail on that. So I personally find that setting VDDP really high in any mode just causes random lockups. Like when I was testing the, what was it, the 6500 CL26 setup, the motherboard was defaulting to like 1.05 VDDP, and that was causing like Prime 95 to just reboot the system at random. So I cannot agree with that. That like in my experience, raising VDDP just sometimes it's necessary, but usually there's like an ideal VDDP voltage, and if you use anything else, it causes more issues. Though that's that's more of a 2-to-1 thing, that it's like super picky. But if you're pushing 1-to-1 mode to its limits, I'd still find that it kind of does the same thing, where if it's too high, it breaks. It's 16 gigabit. Of course, the TRFC is going to be sky high. It's just like you can clearly see this is auto timings. I don't know where they found a 3800 kit though. Yeah, it's well, oh, I didn't copy the image properly. Okay, well, let's fix this. This is probably some kind of Hynix, so we'll just go 64, 4, 6, 16. Actually, this can probably go lower, but I'm just not gonna try Try my luck with that. I don't know, like, they'll try like 650 or less. Yeah, I'll go with something like that. My tab just crashed, didn't it? Yep. Yay, YouTube. This is dual rank. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's doing that ASUS thing again of like sky-high TRDWR and WRD. That'll probably work, I think. Actually, you know what? For reference, I'm just going to use that earlier submission with the 5950X, because that one was just better than this. And probably works. Yeah, like 10.2. Cool. So YouTube is being extremely uncooperative right now. And we're back! I've gotten the tab back. Yay! Yeah, so I would do this. Because, and I'm basing that off of the fact that there's that other submission, which looks like this. And this is also probably Hynix, because this is, I think, a Kingston part number. So what RAM good? Wait, what? Since when is Edge using DuckDuckGo? Oh, right, I copied the link. Yeah, this should be fine. What's the spec on it? C30. Wait, what is that? 6000 C30. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, okay, next super chat. I still don't understand how people tolerate this format of these live streams. Because I hate it so much. 9950X. 30, 37, 37, 35, 30, 65, 8. Why 10? Oh, wait, this is actually 24. But even then, why 10? You're at 6200. That shouldn't be necessary. Where's that coming from? Like, where are people getting that? Did I actually make a video where I ran a low-speed 2x24 setup with 810? Or is it like, are there actually memory kits out there that don't do A8 at like 6400? I mean, it's not a big deal from a performance perspective because it's like 2 ticks of a timing that the memory controller kind of goes out of its way not to use. But it is still weird that at 6200 you would need 10 TRDL. Anyway, 32, 414, 48, 527. Oh, yeah, okay, you're just running it minimized. 4, 2, 12, 16, 4, 4, 6, 6. 65,000. So yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I did a 2x48 setup, but I am relatively certain it wasn't running 810. So we're gonna go. Actually, I'll go check. You know what I really hate? YouTube changed the layout of like your channel. It used to be in the like left sidebar, and then and now it's like your videos, and it's like I don't. And when you click your videos, instead of taking you to your channel video page, it takes you to the freaking studio, and it's just so annoying. Oh no, I did run it at 810. Interesting. That shouldn't be necessary. I wonder why I did that. Not that it's much of a, like, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But like 810 is like that should be like a requirement at like 7600 or something, not at 6400. Then again, I might have been really, really lazy with it. Because if I remember correctly, I might have been like, yeah, because this is probably around the time that I realized that I am simply not going to be doing DDR5 8000 with that 9950X. So it's like, oh, I need content and I need it fast. Okay, we're just going to like do a 2x48 setup. And I'm just going to set TRDL extra loose so that I don't have to deal with it. It's not that loose, but like, yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense. But yeah, it really shouldn't be necessary that you set it to 81032. Because that, like, 81032 works at like 7600. So setting it that way at like 6200 doesn't really make a ton of sense, but it's not like on the flip side, it also really doesn't affect performance that much. Like you're gonna have a hard time measuring the impact of this. But yeah, oh well. And I trusted you on everything. See, this is the thing I absolutely like. I'm just some guy on the internet, right? Like, don't just. I mean, I'm also pretty much the only person who bothers to make memory overclocking content on YouTube. But yeah, like a lot of the time when it comes to setting memory timings, especially when it's like, oh, I need this to be stable, I err on the side of like, it probably isn't going to make much of a difference in terms of performance, and it's not going to crash. So, um, so the one channel member, your timings don't really need any fixing. Like there was like 2 little nitpicks I had with it. It's not gonna really make a difference to your performance. On future-proof X870E memory kit. I don't know. I've not tested enough RAM. This is another thing that bugs me is like I literally like until this month I had one G-Skill DDR5 kit. One. I had literally 0 other G-Skill DDR5 kits. Oh no, at one point I borrowed a Samsung kit from someone. It was terrible. But that was like Z690. And then like I've literally not tested any team group memory at all, so it just annoys me to no end when I get questions like, "Oh, who makes the best RAM?" I don't know. I didn't test like 90% of the RAM that exists. And by that I even mean like the big brands, because unfortunately I like a lot of the like I recycle the memory kits through the videos because you can run the same kit on like a bunch of different motherboards, right? And another issue I see with like trying to get a bunch of different memory kits in is that sometimes certain memory kits don't work on certain boards, right? And you won't know that unless you like test almost every single combination, and that's just not practical. So, yeah, also, I am now very behind on super chats. And the YouTube tab freaking crashed again. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Oh, man. Okay, no, it hasn't crashed yet. It's about to crash. It's like slowing down to a crawl. I freaking love YouTube. Anyway, what submission was like? Well, this looks like, in terms of stress testing, this looks fine. Very tight dual rank timings. Oh, I guess you just mean the 4466. That's neat. Though I haven't done enough like, I need to test that some more. CLKY Cruncher BBP. I've not really tried running BBP. 2167 is getting best performance in BBP. Yeah, then I guess I'd go with that. 2233 doesn't post. Yeah, so I'd go, in this scenario, I'd go with 2167. I mean, 2166. Wait, 67. Ah, whatever. Because, yeah, if 2233 doesn't post at all, then 2200 might be a bit borderline. Like, I feel like to run 2200, you basically need a chip that at least boots 2233. And we've got a 7950X running 6400, 1.25, 1.45 VDD, 28, 37, 37, 32, 30, 62, 48, 32, 414, 48, 512, so 160, right? And, oh. Okay, yeah, so this is two. Yeah, see? So, yeah, so I was really being very lazy with my TRDs. So this is 1-to-1 mode as well. Though, actually, I'd point out that because your TFAW is set to 32, your TRDS doesn't do anything. This is functionally 8832, what you have here. Like, 4832 is the same as 8832. So, the only, like, so I don't think that TRDS is actually, like, being used. Because the whole point, like, the main concern with the activate timings is that the, like, the reason that TFAW exists is that if you send too many activate commands back to back, it can, like, cause a localized brownout in the memory chip where the voltage just for the activation circuitry gets too low. And then if you send too many activates back to back, eventually one of them is going to fail because there's not enough power for it. But what TFAW does is it forces a delay after every fourth activate, something like that. So basically, your memory timings here, like, yeah, you can set 4 activates to different bank groups within 16 cycles, but after those 4 activates, the memory is just going to sit there for 16 cycles doing nothing. So this is functionally the same as 8832. Actually, it's not going to literally do nothing. There is, like, a slight, like, the memory controller can squeeze in some other memory commands in those 16 cycles where the memory can't do more activates. But functionally, this is the same as 8832. And performance-wise, it's, like, very similar to 8832. So I don't think, like... So that's, like... So if you're tuning your TRDs, you actually want to set your TFAW below them. Because if your TFAW is higher than your TRDs, you are able to potentially set TRDs that are not actually stable. They're just getting, like, stretched out by the really long TFAW. So, yeah. Not that it really makes much of a difference, but, like, yeah, this is functionally 8832. And with 24 gigabit, I would just assume that TRDS4 isn't going to work. Because it usually doesn't. And the reason this is probably working is because your TFAW is at 32. That's not to say that maybe like 7 or 6 wouldn't work, but the thing is like 7 or 6 is just not going to make enough of a difference to justify testing them, in my opinion. And the YouTube tab just crashed. Yay! Oh boy. Wait, what? Oh man, there's $100 super chat. I mean, okay, so I don't actually need uh more budget for buying RAM. The issue is like I take too long to test it. So like I requested 3 G skill kits. I have like I'm not gonna and I got them, and it's gonna take me like a while before I'm like done with them. So it doesn't make any sense to also ask like Team Group to send over some memory, because like I'm just not gonna be able to fit. Like, what am I even gonna do with it? It's gonna be sitting on a shelf for a month before I get around to it. Is it snowing for you? Yeah. I went shopping before the stream, and it was snowing. Unfortunately, it melts it's been melting as soon as it hits the ground, but I think it might actually freeze overnight, because in the morning there was frost outside. Anyway, I have now completely lost track of which super chat I was on, so this is a disaster. And did they? Oh wait, no, there's like a viewer activity tab. Oh no. Well, we're screwed. I have no idea. Oh boy. Okay, wait. Oh. Okay, well, nope. I need to clean up the mess. I really do need to come up with a better format for this. Or I don't even know if better format. Like, I am not a video production person. I don't know how to fix this. Wait, what? Okay, now this one go away. Did I say everything I wanted to say about this one? I think I did. Yeah, like the rest of your timings look fine. It's just that TRDS doesn't actually do anything. Anyway, moving on. Next submission, which is this. And that is a 5600, 3800, 19, 19, 19. So everything is nice and synchronized. 16, 8, 20, 13. So this is Micron. 33, 58. So that TRAS is not real. Yeah, that's most definitely not a real TRAS, because between that, like the TRC at 58 basically means this is like 45. Isn't it? Yeah, it's 45. Theoretically, you should be able to set that TRAS to 21 and it won't crash, because your TRC is just going to pull it up. That's at least worked for me when I've messed around with that, but nah, that really should work. Yeah, because that's like a test I did with like Micron chips, where I intentionally set the TRAS like impossibly low to be stable, and then you can just change the stability with setting TRC, so that TRAS isn't real. Anyway, 4, 6, 16. Like, I wouldn't actually bother changing that. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's just sort of worth noting that, like, if you start lowering TRC, you might find that, like, in order to maintain stability, you'll have to, like, raise TRAS. And the reason that happens is because the TRAS right now is not, like, it's not applying because the TRC is so long. That is not a issue with Intel CPUs, because Intel CPUs don't give you a separate TRC setting. Anyway, TRDS and L, we've got 4, 6, 16, so that all looks good. WTR is 4, 8, 12, and TWR as well, we've got 12, so that all looks good as well. TRFC 584, So that's as low as Micron can really go. 4, 14, 6, that's TCL 16, so that makes sense. RTP 6, TRDWR 11, WRD 1. Cool. Yeah, so this is just a solid Micron 16. Wait. Is it? No, it's dual rank, so 8 gigabit E-die setup. Anyway, so yeah, this looks good. I wouldn't change anything about it. I mean, I did say like your TRAS isn't real, but like that doesn't mean you need to change it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, next submission. I'm so behind on soup. Wait, what? Why isn't this one? Oh, there's a space. That did it. Okay. 7950X3D, 3035 at 6200 on 64 gigs. Yeah, and we got 30, 35, 30, 30, 60, 4, 8, 16, 4, 14, 48, 380, 4, 4, 28, 12, 14, 6, 6, 6, 6 on an MSI X870 Tomahawk. Yeah, that all looks good. I would not change anything about this. Yeah. I mean, with that SoC voltage, I would maybe check if you can't run 6400, but I think there's a decent chance that that won't work. So, and it's not like it's going to be that much faster either, even if it does work. So if you just want to run like lower, like have lower idle power consumption, keeping that SoC at 1.18 is reasonable. And then 6200. Okay, next super chat. Got a Intel setup? Oh yeah, 14700 KF on an Apex Z79D. Think it's M-die? Nah, they don't make 7200 M-die kits at all. Also, it's a G-Skill kit, so you can actually just look at the sticker, and there's going to be a letter at the end of the... There's like a number on G-Skill memory kits, that, and there's a... Oh, I should take photos of that for the G-Skill kits I have. But anyway, so yeah, there's like a letter at the end of the... It's not... I don't think it's the serial number. It's like a part number thing, but... Date code? Actually, it might be the serial number. I am not sure. But there's like a bunch of numbers on the sticker, and one of them has a letter at the end of it, and it'll be for A-die, it'll be A. On M-die, it'll be M. And you can basically tell what you have from that. So I bet if you check that, you will find that this is actually A-die. Cannot for the life of me get 8000 stable. Welcome to the club. So I reckon these are best 7800 timings. Voltages are as shown 1.44, 1.41, 1.26 SA, 1.35 IVR, and 1.35 memory controller. Yeah, so that all looks... Like, the issue is like, I don't know what to do with the voltages on Intel. Because, well... That's not entirely true, because like even at like 7600, you can set them so badly that it like stops being stable. But like, I haven't figured out like, oh, you need to do like if it's almost stable, you do this and then it's stable. It's like, yeah, it's not really. Oh well, Intel things. Soon getting a G-Skill 8400. Oh boy. CPU memory controller is the issue. I am betting that you're gonna find out that it's that 8400 kit will probably get you to do 8000. But I would not expect it to do 8400. Because in my experience, the gap between M and E-die is not that big. So if E-die is maxing out at 7800, I don't think M-die is gonna like magically push you to 8400. You might also want to try the ITX ASRock board. Apparently, the Z70i Lightning. Apparently, that thing is like really, really good at memory overclocking. So if you want to, but that's like my problem with the whole Intel high-speed memory stuff is just like it just becomes a bottomless money pit, and it's like, oh, it's the memory kit, so you buy a new memory kit. Oh, it's not the memory kit, so you buy a new motherboard, and then it's like, no, it's not the motherboard. It was the CPU. So then you buy another CPU, and then maybe that CPU still sucks. So then you have to go buy another CPU, and it just doesn't end. And that's why I gave up. In other news, your TRWRRDs are really, really loose. Yeah, 88 and 70 is not great for those two. The rest of this, wait, oh, wait, you're at E-die, right. Yeah, 34, 44, 44, 38. Yeah, that makes sense. 10, 8. That 10 doesn't make a ton of sense. You should be able to run 832. 480, 66,000, 59, 28. That all looks good. You could probably run TCKE at 8 instead of 22. And then we've got 16.8, 20, 20, 16.8, and yeah, then 80, 88 and 70. This is really unnecessarily high. Those could be like 64 and 44 or 64 and 48, something like that instead. Or even like 60 and 44 at 7800. So these could go a lot lower. Like you could easily take like 20 cycles out of both of them. Oh, we've also got another token stress test. Because I mean, at least this one's 54 minutes instead of the other one, which was, what was it, like 4 minutes? Oh no, the chat just jumped. Please don't crash again. Wait, is that another? Okay, that is another submission. Next submission. I'm guessing, yep, looks like Ryzen again. Let's see. Sir, your monitor is too big. Wait, what even resolution is this? Because I have a 3440 by 1440. This is like... This has to be like 5,000 or something. Unless it's multiple monitor. No, it can't be multiple monitors. This is one giant monitor. Anyway, 7600X, 6200, 28. Wait, what? Manage 6400 CL30, but need... Yeah, well, that's the thing about 6400. It needs lots of SoC voltage. Like, there's no magic to doing 6400 in 1-to-1 mode. You either win the silicon lottery and you can do it at low voltage, or you don't, and then you need a lot of voltage. Or you really don't win the lottery, and then it just doesn't work. Though I will point out that like AMD put that 1.3 volt voltage limit on the SoC because that is actually a safe limit. So, like, I know it might look bad when you set the SoC voltage to 1.3, but like it's not actually going to hurt the CPU. It is going to pull quite a bit of idle power though. Anyway, B650E-F, 6200, 28, 36, 36, 36, 30, 60. Well, I haven't verified if this is actually the case with AM5 like it was on AM4, where if your TRP and TRAS are bigger than your TRC, then like TRC just gets overridden. I think AM5 doesn't do that anymore, because I think there's been a change to the way how like TRAS is used. Anyway, then we've got 4, 416, 414, 48, 420, 42, 12, 16, 3, 6, 6, 8, 8. This is single rank, so those don't matter. Wait, you're at 1.22 for 6200, and then you can do 6400 at 1.26? That doesn't really make sense. You're probably running way more SoC voltage for 6200 than necessary. If you can, like, kind of run 6400 CL30 at these voltages. Unless you mean that you managed to get 6400 CL30 to boot at these voltages and then it just completely doesn't work. But like if it kind of works at 1.26, 1.27, like you could run 6200 at like 1.18 probably, or even less. Anyway, next submission. We got a 5800. Oh no. Curse 2x16x2 2x8 daily setup. Yep, cursed indeed. You might be looking at that and be like, oh, 48 gigs of DDR5 is normal. Yeah, but this is DDR4. Is this all? No, that's... So we've got 2 single rank B-die sticks mixed with, I'm assuming, some flavor of Hynix 16 gigabit. And it's running 18.8, 22, 22 at 3800. 21, 43, 4416, 410, 10, 494. So this is basically Hynix timings because the B-die, obviously, it's like it can do better timings than this, but because there's Hynix sticks included, you're stuck on the Hynix timings, basically. And then SCLs are at 5 because, yeah, that apparently with some Hynix sticks, that's a problem sometimes. RTP at 8, TRDW 12, WRD 4. On a ASRock B550 Extreme 4. Also, the ASRock B550 Extreme 4, Velocita, and the Steel Legend are all, like, those are basically all the same motherboard, and they're all really good. Like, well, okay, I wouldn't say really good, but surprisingly good at memory overclocking. And they all have postcodes, which is the main reason I like them. Anyway. I mean, I am surprised that this works, but, well... Am I? I mean, I guess the Hynix sticks might not really complain too much about the B-die. Because that's like a potential issue is like certain mixes of memory chips really hate each other. Where they'll just like one of they'll like it just won't work because it's like and sometimes you'll even get memory chips that don't work with themselves in multi-rank configurations. Like I think C-die is like an absolute nightmare for dual rank and quad rank. Even though on its own on its own is bad, but in multi, like if you run more of it, it gets worse. A lot worse. Even though, like with B-die, usually when you add more B-die, the problem is that the speed comes down a bit. With C-die, it's like, yeah, it comes down a lot. Did I miss anything? Okay, no. Okay, looks like I finally caught up to all the super chats. Unless my tab crashed. Oh, no, my tab crashed, didn't it? Oh, yep. Lovely. Thank you, YouTube. Very cool. Oh, wait, this cursed setup has more to it. Yeah, so it's Hynix 16 gigabit C-die and some B-die. SCL's unstable because of Hynix. Wait, 1324. Switch them to be one. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. But the problem is that, so that'll help stability because you basically have the same memory in the same channel. But the side effect of that is now like half your memory is in single channel mode. Oh, not half your memory, but like a bunch of your RAM is now in, like 16 gigs of memory are now in single channel mode. Because basically when you do, so when you have like, so the issue is that if you have like Samsung and Hynix on the same memory channel, the memory controller has to like train parameters that keep both memory chips happy, which isn't very realistic because the Hynix chips are going to behave like they're going to have rather different IO circuitry compared to the Samsung memory chips, right? Literally made by a different manufacturer. So when you're pushing the memory to its limits or just not running it at JDEC, right? Because JDEC is like, okay, there's this tolerance, and as long as your memory chips are within this tolerance, it'll work. And that tolerance is really, really big. But when you're running higher speeds, that tolerance narrows down a lot. And then the memory controller, and then you basically run into the issue of like, oh, the B-die might have more input capacitance or less input capacitance, or just the signal alignment for the B-die sticks might be a bit earlier than the Hynix sticks or something, and that just makes a mess. So by putting all the B-die on the same channel, the memory controller can train that channel for B-die, and then the other channel gets trained for Hynix, and that'll be more stable. But the downside to that is you're gonna have like less performance for like the last 16 gigs of memory, which is still better than using a page file, so not the end of the world. But yeah, that makes sense that like you'd have more stability by putting the same chips onto the same channel. What happened to that other submission? Oh, I guess I didn't copy paste it yet. Hey, there we go. Okay, so next submission. And yeah, my YouTube tab crashed. Okay, I'm not so far behind that we're completely screwed. Anyway, so 5600X running 3600 Micron Rev H or E. We have a before and after. We got 37, 33, 18, 8, 21, 18, 29, 53. That doesn't really make... Wait, does it? Wait. 1, 30, 17... Okay, that makes sense. Well, okay, so that TRS, it doesn't matter. 4, 4, 16, 2, 8, 16. 620 on TRFC, 4, 4. Again, the RDW, it's another Asus board. Yeah, so this is like I guess this is just a thing, is like Asus hates the read to write, write to read transitions. Like for comparison, that cursed mishmash of Hynix and like Samsung, like that runs 12.4 for read to write, write to read. This is running 16.7, and it's just like like it's all Micron. And we also had a submission earlier that was like a Micron setup that was well, I don't know where it went. So this is, oh yeah, this is it probably. And yeah, and this one's running like 11.1. So yeah, I would, like, if I were you, the only thing I would do to this at this point is probably try to tighten the RDWR and WRRRD a bit. I don't know how far down they should go, because, like, on Gigabyte motherboards and, like, MSI motherboards and ASRock motherboards, you can leave those two on auto, and they kind of don't do that, but Asus apparently, like, hates those two timings or something, so... Yeah, like, I'd look into trying to do something about that. I've not used a lot of Asus AM4 motherboards because, well, the one I did use was really not great. Oh well. But the rest of your timings look good. Yeah. So I like the only thing I would like try messing with is the read to write, write to read settings. Okay, next submission. Looking to reduce stutters and audio dropout and 1% lows. Wait, you want lower 1% lows? Why would you want lower 1% lows? Okay, well, if you want lower 1% lows, I have a trick for that. You see your TREFI? It's set really high right now. You need to set it really low, like 1,000 or something. Don't actually do that. That'll literally make your computer... It'll get your computer about as close to unusable as it can get by if you set, like, because his TRFC is at 8, what is it? 884. So if he set that refresh interval to 1,000, his actual like usable uptime on the memory would be like 20% of available clock cycles, which is basically like that would be kind of like running that would be like running DDR5. Actually, it wouldn't be like that. It would be worse. No, don't do that. Anyway, this is what is this? This is really weird to look at. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Ah! Stuff's going all over the place. Okay, so... Man, I wish I had like a standardized color coding system for this at this point. But anyway, we can definitely do that. And that. That's probably... This is not going to make as much of a difference. I mean, neither of these is going to make a huge difference, I don't think. But definitely, like, you might also be able to run less than that. So actually, I am going to try color coding. So the red numbers are like maybe, and orange numbers are like probably. So thing is, sometimes you run into certain kits where like super low TRAS is just doesn't work properly. So we're gonna go with 40 as a starting point here for convenience. And then for the red option, I mean, actually, the red option would be like 35. There, so you could try that. Also, it might be worth it just for convenience. It might be worth it to set this to 1.43. And that's not like questionable at all. So there, you could try that. I mean, the main one I would do out of all of these is I consider that important and this important, and the rest of it is somewhat more optional. Oh, I didn't highlight that very well. I should have highlighted it like that. Oh well. Anyway, next submission, I guess. Yep. Hmm? Go away. What? 7700X running 7800 on a B650 E-E. Now, I find that very surprising because my experience with the 4DIMM Asus boards is that they suck. This is a 4DIMM Asus board, and it's not struggling to do 7600, which, yeah, is very, very surprising to me. Also, if your priority is gaming performance, FCLK synchronized to UCLK is better. In 2-to-1 mode, rather compared to running like really high FCLK. Currently running stress tests. We'll try 8000 before the latest BIOS. Oh, interesting. So maybe Asus fixed some stuff. I might have to try the ProArt again then. Do you have recommendations for 8000? No, unfortunately. I mean, I guess for timings? TRFC 600. What is this? This is 16 gigabit. You shouldn't... Nah, there's no reason to set TRFC to 600. AA, 32, 416, 48, 65,000, 36, 46. Like, for 8000, I think the only thing you're really going to have to change is, like, your primaries. You're going to go, like, you're going to be going from, like, 36, 46 to, like, 38, 40, 38, 48, and then TRP. 38 might actually still work, but it might be, like, as a starting point, I'd probably set it to 40. TRAS might be okay at 36. I unfortunately have had, like, basically zero success with getting E-die working at 8000 so far. All right, you'll notice all of my DDR5 8000 videos are always on 2x24. Because with 2x16, I've just had basically no success whatsoever. But yeah, hopefully that'll change, because now I actually have a 2x16 8000 Expo kit from G-Skill. So, like, on the off chance that it was the memory sticks, that's hopefully not going to be an issue anymore. Because I have a E-die kit that is actually rated for 8000. So the nice thing is, if that works, then I can start experimenting with the other E-die kits again. Because if there's, like, some specifics of that, like, G-Skill kit that, like, helps, or if I can't even get the G-Skill kit working, then it's like, okay, this is evidently not a memory kit problem, it's something else. And if the G-Skill kit does work, then maybe it's just the other memory kits that I have. But yeah, so far I've not had much success with trying to do 8000 on E-die. Though now I guess I'm gonna have to go back and, like, test the ProArt. And I also have a B650 motherboard from Asus, which might, there's a chance that might be on a newer memory topology than the X670 ProArt. Like, my ProArt is secondhand, so I don't know how old it is. But the B650s had a delayed launch, didn't they? So that could be on a somewhat newer topology. Because I have a B650 E-F. Man, I'm just too much stuff to test. Well, this looks good. And yeah, for 8000, you're probably just going to have to loosen out the primaries. I don't think you'll have to change much else. Anyway, next submission. We got a... What? But why? Why would you do 102 BCLK on a 9800 X3D? Like, the CPU is unlocked. Your SoC voltage isn't, like, super high or anything. Why? Why would you do this? Also, everything about this is... I was about to say everything about this is bad, but instead it's like, no, this is all a mess. And I still don't get why you would raise the BCLK by 2%. Like like the 9800X3D, like you can just overclock it. It's unlocked, unlike the 7800X3D. There's no reason to mess with the BCLK or ECLK or whatever. So this is just bad. Now, assuming this works, which I'm hoping that it works, because otherwise, like, if it also doesn't work, then I don't know what you're doing. I understand even less of this mess. But anyway, so let's get into it. So first things first, this, yeah, you should just be able to run 6200. I don't know about how good the CPU's memory controller is, so we're just gonna go straight to 1.25, which is gonna, like, there's very little chance that that's not gonna work. 2166. Okay, that's okay, we'll just put it over here. Obviously, this will be 3100 if you actually run 6200. That'll be 3100. Yeah, okay, I give up. I was just not dealing with that. Or 1.35. You should still be able to run like 38 at 6200. I'm not sure if this is E-die or... It's probably E-die. But whatever. That's at 30, so like you should be able to run that at 68. Damn it. Why is it 61022? This is just like, oh, I'm going to take Buildzoid's easy Hynix timings and I'm just going to add 2 to everything. It's like, why? If this is E-die, you should be able to run it at like 422. And this is single rank, so we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so I would do this. I don't know why you would raise the BCLK by 2%. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, I guess next submission. You know what? I'm apparently very bad at copying links. Sir. Like... I'm guessing... Oh, no, it's an MSI motherboard. I mean, MSI does it too, so that makes sense. Your videos helped me get this far. It looks like you turned on Expo. Man, apparently my videos taught you how to turn on Expo. My depression's getting worse. Okay, well, this is 24 gigabit. Which does have, like, issues with super low TRC. And it is single rank. So yeah, also that SoC voltage, you can probably run 1.1 volts or less. Also, why would you even... Did you lower the memory voltage? Why would you do that? Also, you do realize, like, the funny thing is like, oh, I'm going to save power on my memory sticks. And it's like, you do realize that your SoC voltage burns more power than the memory sticks. Like, the sky-high SoC voltage burns way more power than what you saved by lowering the memory voltage by 0.2, 20 millivolts? Um, so, yeah, like, this is just... Like, congratulations on turning on Expo, I guess. What idea for dual rank timings? Oh, you mean the 4466? I mean, if it works, like, I haven't gotten around to testing that yet, but if it works, then it's, like, worth trying, so... Like, 44, like... Yeah, like... I do not work on the assumption that I know everything there is to know, so if I see new information, I'd like to be quick to integrate it into my, view of how things work. Anyway, next submission. Like, usually, ideally, I'd want to, like, only add it to my recommendations after I verified that it works myself, but if I've seen enough people do basically the same thing, then it's like, oh yeah, this probably works, and I just haven't gotten around to testing it, so we'll just add that to the list of options that exist. Anyway, oh boy, okay. Why is it a 3500 CL13? Oh, it's a B760 board. So I'm guessing the problem that you're running into is that the not SoC voltage, system agent voltage is locked. Oh yeah, this is a 13400F in gear 1. Yeah, SA is locked. Yep. 1313, wait, this is... Oh, right, that's, like, rebranded Alder Lake, isn't it? So, yeah, that doesn't work. As in, that register doesn't exist. 1318, 1T, 44, 210, 9, 5, 16, 8, 13, 7, 4. Is this single rank? Okay, this is single rank. Why do you have such a high-end memory kit with such a low-end motherboard and CPU? Did 4417 like get really cheap recently or something? Anyway, 7 4 9 9 7 4 27 23. So yeah, that looks good. Yeah, it's a shame that like Intel locks the system agent on a bunch of their CPUs, but you know, it's Intel. They just can't help themselves. It's a lot like Asus. Oh, you want extra functionality? Yeah, no, you're gonna have to pay more. Um, anyway, wait, why do you need that much VDD QTX? Oh, you're probably running pretty high memory voltage as well. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I'd be a bit concerned that this might harm the CPU, though. Because as far as I know, VDD QTX is like an internal voltage, but I don't know what exactly it's for. So, yeah, that one's, like, personally, I would probably try to stay at 1.45 or less for VDD QTX. Then again, I don't know how much you care about the CPU, so, you know, if you don't care that much about it, then 1.5 volts is like, it might be fine. I really don't know. But as far as I know, that's like an internal voltage. It's not like VDDR, which is used for signaling to the memory. So, yeah, not sure about that one. Anyway, next submission. We've got, what is this? 9900X on an X870E Nova Wi-Fi with, okay, we'll just go with this. Auto timings, with frickin' auto timings. That's what we got. A 7600 CL36 kit of some kind. Oh, it's Patriot. Neat. Don't really see them very much for DDR5. At least, like, I've not seen them very much for DDR5 in, like, submissions. I did pick up 2 of the Patriot Viper Extreme 5 kits that are, like, 8200 for, like its E-die. Well, I didn't intentionally pick up 2. One of them got lost in shipping and showed up several weeks later, so... well, the first one got lost in shipping, and then showed up, like, yeah, I think, like, 2 weeks later. So now I have 2. I've briefly tried them. They seem to work pretty well on MSI's Tomahawk, and they don't really work at all on the Hero, but I need to do more testing on that. Anyway, yeah, so these are bad, as you can probably guess, because these are auto timings. Am I missing something about this? Nah, it's just auto timings getting submitted. Yeah, my thoughts on Expo are going to be so illuminating. Anyway, actually, this isn't even Expo because that's a 7600 kit. Then again, Patriot is one of the manufacturers that actually sticks a bunch of profiles onto their memory sticks instead of just one, which really annoys me. Like, it would be so cool, in my opinion, if, like, memory kits from, like, G-Skill, Team Group, Corsair, like, if you had, like, a 6400 kit and it also include... I guess it would require extra validation for them, which is why they don't do it. Whereas I guess Patriot just kind of slaps the extra profiles on there and just doesn't care. Which is what I would do. Because, like, the thing is, like, especially with Ryzen, like, you see a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm going to buy a 6400 kit, and then they don't get a CPU good enough to run it in 1-to-1 mode. It's like, well, it would be really convenient if they could just switch to a 6000 profile, wouldn't it? Or a 6200 profile. Anyway, so we got 30, 40, 40, 40, 56, 96. This is 8. Okay, this is 24 gigabit, so you know, yeah, like you could really run more refresh interval. Did I change anything else? I mean, your primaries could probably get quite a bit tighter. Like, I would expect most kits to be able to do 38. Especially at 1.45. No, I have heard apparently that sometimes setting the TRAS too low like causes issues, so for that you might want to try like, I don't know, 40 instead. Like, I've personally not found, well, the main thing I've heard is that apparently it causes issues with the iGPU, but I'm like not sure if that is like I'm not sure why that's an issue, because the CPU doesn't seem to complain about it, and if you're not using the iGPU, then it's like, well, it doesn't matter that the iGPU has problems with low TRAS. But I guess just in case you could try like that. And then we'll do the red option as like 3062. Anyway, next submission. Oh no, I copied it wrong. How long have we been going? Oh no. Almost 2 hours now. Did the tab just crash again? Okay, no, it does look I am keeping up with super chats. That's my main concern. Because yeah, there's a lot of them today. Okay. Oh, this is Samsung. Yeah, I'm like, wait, why does this? And then it's like, oh, right, it's Samsung. Single rank. 6200, 30, 33, 33, 30, 70. Oof. I don't, if I remember correctly, that doesn't get better. That's just like Samsung things right there. 420, 620, 48, 800. Yeah, that's the other oof. That one actually matters less than the TRC, I think. And then 4.4. That idle latency score is really bad for some reason. I am not sure why that would be. What was the context? Daily OC by chasing 3D mark scores. Well, why didn't you include some 3D mark scores instead of freaking OCCT? Yeah, unfortunately this is Samsung, so I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. It's been a really long time since I've last placed with the like Samsung kit I have, but this looks about right for what it does. You could try pushing it to 6400. Like Samsung can actually run decently high speeds. Like you can push Samsung DDR5 to like even 6600 or 6800. But yeah, like a lot of the subtimings are just not great. But your SoC voltage isn't super high. So you might be able to run like 6400, 32, 34. Unfortunately, Samsung doesn't really scale with memory voltage very much. So like whatever cast latency you get at 1.4 is like kind of whatever cast latency you're stuck at. So yeah, I would like you could try push it to 6400. It's not gonna really get much faster, I don't think, but like it'll still be faster than this. Like if it works, it'll be faster than the 6200 setup. Can TFall be 16 on DDR5 6200? On Ryzen, no, because as far as I know, the memory controller doesn't support TFalls less than 20. But if you set it to less than 20, it just gets corrected to 20. So that's why, like, there was a like I think I know which submission you're referring to, because there was at least one of them today where somebody set TFall to 16 on Ryzen DDR5, and I just decided to ignore it because it's like, it doesn't do anything. So, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure you could set TFall to 8 and it wouldn't make a difference, because I think that's like what MSI lets you do. And it's just not going to do anything. On Intel, it is a thing, and it does work. Especially at 6200, it's not really a problem, depending on the memory sticks. Alright, what? Oh, the guy with the 1.3 volt SoC that was apparently bugged out and the tab just died. That was just bugged out in Zen timings. Yeah, well, then cool. I guess nice low voltage then. Wait, were the memory voltages also bugged out? I am very sorry for how bad this format is. Oh boy. Alright, what'll get better? This? No, it won't. This is like the limit of my ability to think of how to do this. Oh, okay, the YouTube tab is just it's just done. It is done. I can't scroll up or down in chat anymore. I've reloaded the tab. It is disintegrating. I'm gonna try duplicate, I'll try duplicate the tab. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay, I need to stop trying to scroll up, apparently. Okay, so that looks good, fine. There's one more super chat. Please don't send any more. I'd like to end the stream soon. It's been almost 2 hours at this point. Wait, what? Oh. .102 BCLK was the only way to push core clocks higher. Okay. Hardware info VSOC is 1.17. Oh, well, in that case, I'd still try. Oh, wait, this is an MSI mother. Actually, this is one thing that annoys me to no end with voltage readings is there is no official standardization by the CPU manufacturers for how software should measure voltage. How how voltages should show up in software. It was not stable until I raised all the timings randomly. Oh. No, the thing is the timings don't really have relationships. But I don't know why it wouldn't be stable. Unless you, well, no, you don't have an M-die kit. Well, actually, that's not impossible, I guess. If I try lower any of the primaries, it's no longer stable. Huh. Okay. I mean, this isn't going to be massive, this isn't going to be massively slower or anything. But it is weird to look at. And I don't know why you'd have, issues with stability. I mean, maybe it's because your memory voltage is 1.35, but I'm pretty sure I tested mine at 1.35. So yeah, that's weird. Oh, there's another super chat. That's for the 102 BCLK. I don't... like, the thing is, I haven't like yet tested the 9800X3D I have, so I am not sure how like the overclocking behaves. Personally, I think I'd be more interested in trying to max out all-core like a static overclock on a 9800X3D than messing with PBO. And maybe with the motherboards that have the dynamic OC switcher, I'd have it like switch out of static as soon as the load gets too high. Which the funny thing about doing it that way is that PBO's all-core load settings are really, really bad, but then also all-core load is like, well, the bigger issue is like verifying the stability for mild load. All right, that's always been my biggest problem with all of the dynamic overclocking stuff is like, how do you prove that your one core, whatever boost frequency is actually stable? Because it's so hard to like get the CPU to stay at max boost and also like stress the core as much as possible. Because as soon as like the stress level gets too high, the chip downclocks, and it's like, well, now I don't know if there's some like very edge case scenario where it isn't stable, but it doesn't downclock. So yeah, that's been my eternal like struggle with dynamic clocks is like how do you prove stability if the clock is just all over the place? But yeah, I guess if you have to do like, well, probably shouldn't have to change TWR, but like this isn't. Yeah, I get like I don't. Well, yeah, I don't see much point in trying to change this too much then. Though, if your SoC voltage is that low, you could maybe run 6300 instead of 6120. Anyway, next submission. And then I'm closing submissions. Oh, a 6200 CL24. Well, let's see. That is a lot of SoC voltage. So either the CPU is a potato or you just really couldn't be bothered with minimizing it. And we got 6200, 24, 35, 35, 30, 30, 64, 620, 314, 40, 48, 357, man. Okay, that TRFC is really slammed. 4, 1, and then 65,000 refresh interval. So I guess the memory controller is potato. 1.35. I'm pretty sure that might be his like auto voltage for his memory sticks, because there are some 1.35 memory kits. What? Ryzen just gets faster and faster as you push past 6,000. It's just that like 6,000 is really like idiot proof. It's not the fastest option, it's just the most idiot proof option. Anyway, so the timings on this look good. But I guess I'm sorry for your CPU's memory controller. Wait, did my tab just crash again? What? No, I have a 9800X3D. I don't review CPUs. I don't know if you've noticed that I've literally never reviewed a CPU. I do plan to do some testing with it. But I have too much shit to do. And I'm very bad at getting stuff done. I don't know if you've noticed. Like, there's a reason I joke about how, like, if I tried to work for any other YouTuber, they would just fire me within, like, a month. Or any manufacturer. Like, if I had to get a real job, like, yeah, like a real job where, like, I have a boss, they would fire me. Because it would just not work. And there would be nothing they could do about it. They'd maybe get like a month of like useful, productive human out of me, and then it would just be a complete disaster the rest of the forever. So, anyway, I will now close submissions, and I'll grab a few like at random. I mean, IMC. Yeah, like, obviously I'm going to be testing some memory overclocking with it. I also want to see how far I can push it in, like, just all-core overclocking and mess around with that. I really want to know what it does in 3D Mark 11 physics. Because the 7800X3D is, like, weirdly overpowered for 3D Mark 11 physics. And the 9800X3D is even faster, like, a lot faster. And it can overclock. Properly overclock. The 7800X3D can't. So I'm like wondering is like, because the 7800X3D off the top of my head at stock is like 37,000 points in 3D Mark 11. I do wonder if the 9800X3D isn't going to be like over 40,000, like comfortably over 40,000 with manual tuning. And it might not even nuke the GPU performance. Because that's like one of the biggest problems with Ryzen CPUs in the old 3D Marks, is they're really, really bad for the GPU tests in everything that isn't like Vantage. Yeah, like Vantage is fine. You can run Vantage on a 9950X and it's good. But you try to run Vantage on like you try to run like 3D Mark 11 on a 9950X, and your GPU tests are so CPU bottlenecked, it's ridiculous. And then you get like Firestrike, and Firestrike is the same thing. A 9950X with a 3080 Ti is like 10% slower on the GPU score than a 14900K. Which is just like, it's so bad for the GPU test. So I wonder if the 9800X3D fixes that. And also if the 9800X3D fixes that, the 9950X3D might be an absolute beast for just everything. Instead of just like, oh, some benchmarks. It'll be just like everything, except maybe PyPrime. So, yeah. So, like, I do want to test it, but, like, right now there's, like, I have a motherboard hooked up to the oscilloscope, and I haven't taken the measurements, and then it's like, and then once I do that, it's like, well, I'm not even entirely sure what I want to do with that in terms of content. And then once I'm done with that, it's like I have the G-Skill memory kits, and so I guess I'll have to test those first. And I don't know if I want to test those first with the 9700X, because I already know how that CPU behaves, or like, because I don't know, maybe that 9800X 3D sucks massively, and, you know. And so just, yeah. On any tips on how to get the TRDLs to be equal on both sticks? So, yeah, I don't know any, like, I tried asking for, like, some help with that, and I have not gotten a response back yet. So, and I myself, like, in 1-to-1 mode, my RDLs usually match. In 2-to-1 mode, there's always like a like in high speeds 2-to-1 mode, it's always a 2-cycle gap. Actually, I don't know if they're even measured in clock cycles. So I don't know what you can do about that. They might be measured in fractions of a clock cycle. I actually don't know what the phi RDLs are measured in. I tried asking about it, and they wouldn't give me an answer. It's really like that's just been one of my eternal frustrations. Is like, even when I have contacts, I'll send them a question, and it's and I won't, you know, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's a great question," and then it's like, "Well, then why don't you give me a great answer?" Anyway, so I'll just grab some submission, like a last couple submissions, and then that'll be the end of the stream. Now, if only I could actually successfully read chat enough to... Wait, did the tab just crash again? Okay, whatever. If, like, we'll just go until the tab implodes, and that'll be the end of the stream. There. That's my plan for how to end this. I'll scroll up until YouTube crashes. Anyway, so we've got a Z790i Lightning Wi-Fi, 8200. See, this is a proper memory stress test. 7 hours. 3648 E-die. Yeah, of course, 16 gig. 36, 48, 48, 40, 2, 50, 480. That per bank is not good at all. You should be able to run way less per bank than 500. That's like, as a general rule of thumb, per bank can usually be at least 100 clock cycles lower than TRFC2. So, like, I would try, well, yeah, like, it'll probably work at, like, 380. And there is a slight performance benefit to doing that. So there's no reason for it to be a 500. Like, I've seen some Intel people, like, set both TRFC2 and per bank to the same thing, which is, like, the lazy way of setting them. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But having it higher than your TRFC2, it's just, like, that actually doesn't make sense. Anyway, then TRDs, we've got 8, TFall 32, no, 16. Yeah, that works. WTRL is not real. We've got 68, 52. That makes sense. I mean, I think that 52 is probably a bit looser than it needs to be, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 refresh interval. Yeah. Man, I almost want to test this motherboard. Almost. But like I just mentioned, it's like I am so bad at getting stuff done and so behind on getting just AM5 done that like I've literally decided I am just not going to do Arrow Lake because for once I would like to feel like I have explored a platform to completion. And so I'm going to do that with AM5 because it's very clear that Z890 is a massive flop and it's like cool. At least I don't have to like split my attention between two completely different platforms for once. And I have lost track of where I was in chat, so that's great. Wait, did I just do this one? Yes, I did just do this one. Okay, another submission. Daily gaming setup, 7800X3D 7000 CL28 video as reference. Okay. 6200, 28, 36, 36, 28, 30, 58, 4, 8, 20, 4, 16, 48, 466. That could probably go a bit lower, but it doesn't really matter when you have refresh interval 65,000. We got 4, 2, and 3100, 2066, 3100. Yeah, all looks good. Can't get FCLK past 2060 without... Nah, that's your Infinity Fabric. That is really bad Infinity Fabric. This is not the first time I've ever heard of that, but that... Yeah, like... Oh man, your memory does get really hot. I'm surprised that you're getting away with refresh interval that high, with the memory temps like that. Then again, the SPD hub temperature is not exactly the temperature of the actual memory chips themselves. So the memory chips might still be at like acceptable temperatures. Has been stable for weeks. Yeah, I'd leave it alone in that case. But I'm surprised that the FCLK doesn't go any higher. Because it's not like you're running like crazy SoC voltage or something. Though maybe you have one of those weird CPUs that actually needs a lot of SoC voltage, so you might want to try like 1.3 SoC and see if that helps the FCLK, but the thing is like running FCLK 2067 versus like say 2200, it really doesn't make as much of a difference as you might be hoping for. Like, it makes a big difference if you're running something that's extremely memory bandwidth limited, but in games and stuff, it really doesn't do that much. Anyway, I'll grab another submission. Do we have here? Oh, a 5600 with a 3800, 18, 21, 21, 21, 38, 65 setup. So that TRAS isn't real again. This is probably Micron. 4416, 4812, 590. Yeah, this is Micron. 44, single rank, so dual rank timings are off. FCLK won't go higher than 1900. Yeah, that's pretty typical. Yeah, like I've not had a CPU where more than 1900 works. Admittedly, I've only had 2 CPUs, but yeah. TRC80 and TRC don't go lower. Yep, Micron things. Others haven't tried the max. You should be able to set TRCD WR way lower, and you should be able to lower TRP a bit. Wait, this shows a Samsung C-die? Oh, you are at 1.33. It could be C-die. The funny thing is, my experience, C-die did actually pretty decent TRFC, but I've seen other people say that C-die does horrible TRFC. So I don't know, maybe C-die is just so freaking all over the place in terms of... Well, I guess the definitive way of how you can check this is you could shove a bunch of voltage into it, and if it stops posting, then it's C-die. Well, why? Oh, I guess your TCL is really bad, isn't it? It's not that bad, though. Well, no, okay, yeah, so you could try shove more voltage into it, and if it gets way worse, it's C-die. When I get around to, no, I hope to get to the 9800X3D like this month. Maybe even this week. Okay, no, that's being overly optimistic. Oh wait, I already looked at this one. BIOS actual is 1.37. Oh. Well, then try like 1.45 and see what happens. If it stops posting, I agree with Typhoon Burner saying that it's C-die. If it doesn't stop posting, it might be Micron. And then you might be able to lower the cast latency and stuff. Already did the lightning submission. Okay. What's this? Oh, okay, cool. We've got a 9800X3D on a carbon, running 6400, 28, 37, 37, 32. Wait, this doesn't... Oh, no, we can make it bigger. 37, 37, 32. Wait, there's like a bunch of text again. Did pass several tests, 20 plus hours of gaming, can boot 2233, might get 6600, 2200 stable. If that SoC voltage is minimized, no, you won't. GDM disable doesn't boot. Nitro 121. Yeah, that makes sense. Had another 9800X3D that could barely boot 6400. Yeah, it happens. Like this is the thing. Like there's the 6400 is not a skill test. It's a luck test. And 6600 is like an extreme luck test. And if that SoC voltage is minimized, this chip ain't doing it, I bet. 8 hours anti-extreme, 7 to 8 hours MemTest Pro. Cool. Anyway, timings we got 28, 37, 37, 32, 28, 60, 4, 8, 20, 4, 14, 48, 384, 4, 4, 12, 16, 2, and then 6, 6, 6, 6, but this is single rank, so yeah, those aren't relevant. Refresh interval at 65,000. Actually, I think this is what the motherboard defaults to when you're on a single rank setup. So yeah, this looks good. I don't think it's gonna do, yeah, like I'm pretty certain it's not gonna do 6600. But this is already like a good setup, so I wouldn't really worry about that. Let's grab another submission. You know, I don't know if this is like a random coincidence, but I kind of suspect that like starting these streams later, like at 11 p.m. or like 10 p.m. might be better than starting them at like 6 or 7. Because I was thinking like, oh, if I start them at like 6 or 7, it'll be like better for the Europeans, but I don't think that that doesn't seem to actually be, that doesn't seem to work. Anyway, what is this? Oh, whoa. A 7500F that like smashed the silicon lottery on the memory controller. Damn. That is a crazy CPU. 1.275 SoC to run 6600. And of course 2200 FCLK. 28, 38, 38, 38, 30, 68, 68. Man, imagine if you could like... If the like Ryzen CPUs were modular and you could buy like... You could bin the IO die separate from the CCDs. Actually, if AMD really wanted to, they could, but evidently they don't want to. Yeah, 28, 38, 38, man. 6, 8, 24, 216, 544. M-die? Because, like, if this is A-die, you shouldn't need TRFC that loose. And then 6, 6 on the SCLs, which might be a necessity for 6600. I'm not sure. It's not a frequency that I've been able to test because, like, I've tried 6600 even with SCLs of, like, 8, 8, and it still doesn't work. Yeah. Which makes sense, because, like, well, yeah, most CPUs don't do 6600. And then, like, if you get very lucky, you can get a 7500F that does it. And 65,000 refresh interval. So that is a wild chip. Still running the test. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you still have SoC headroom, it looks like. So even if there's, like, errors out, like, you could just bump the SoC a bit more, and that might actually just fix it at that point. Anyway, grab another submission. Oh, I've already looked at this one. I copied your Easy Hynix timings video on a couple of sticks of Hynix E-die SR and wanted to do a stability test. Any recommendations that are free? TestMem5 is an option. You can run Prime 95 large FFTs. That's also an option. I'd say Prime 95 large FFTs is probably it's one of the slower options for stress testing memory. As in, like, I think you need to run it longer than some of the other tests. Y-Cruncher is free, though it isn't, like, really specifically a memory test. It's more for hitting the memory controller. I think OCCT has a memory test built in, but I've never used that one. Also, TestMem5 is incredibly janky to run, but it is a good memory test. It's just annoying to set up, and it's free. Yeah, the main upside with Y-Cruncher is that it does give you like a speed increase, like it does give you like a speed reading as you're running it. Try TestMem5 0. threes. Oh, there's like a new version of testmem 5. Do you have a video or resources how to set it up? I don't. That is something I've considered doing, like a video going over like stress testing options, but never got around to it. But I'm sure testmem 5.0.13 is not from the original author. Is it less jank though? If it's less jank, I think that fixes everything. Um um Well, I'm gonna copy a submission from like, oh no, that's like an hour and a half. Wait, no, it's not an hour and a half ago. It's from like half an hour ago. Hopefully they're still watching. Oh yeah. So 9800X3D again. Man, this CPU is crazy popular, which like makes sense, but still kind of wild. Oh no, your dual rank timings. And the rest of this is just my easy Hynix timings, which is fine. But the dual rank timings are not fine, so we need to fix that. Man, I've been like considering trying to make like a list of like, the issue is like, well, is it an issue? Like, here's a problem, okay? I fully realize that from a practicality perspective, making videos about memory timings is not really that practical. So it would take me not very long to write up like a Patreon posts for like DDR5 6000, 6200, 6400, and then also like maybe 7600, 7800, 8000, right? Where it's like these are timings, like this is like timings that'll probably work. But the problem with that is like it's not going to be very like compared to making YouTube videos, I don't think that's going to be super profitable. I mean, my YouTube videos don't get that much ad revenue anyway, so I don't know why I care. So I might just do that. Cuz like that'll prevent like the whole like people sending in stuff like this where, you know, they're dual rank timings, cuz like they copied, like this is evidently the single rank timings. And then they just didn't set the dual rank timings at all, so those just defaulted to garbage. Because yeah, the rest of it's fine. Oh no, the chat is breaking. And the other thing is, like, I don't want to gatekeep freaking timings behind a paywall. Right? Like, that's just... But then, like, so it's like, I could... And the thing is, like, making the posts free on Patreon is, like, fine, but then it's like, nobody's going to watch the videos. And then I don't get the ad revenue. So... So that's kind of been like my like that's why so far it's always been like, and I kind of fell behind on that. But I've kind of started doing it again, is that like I make a text version of the timings from the like memory overclock videos. But like they're not like, you know, like I don't want to make a video that's like, oh, this is just like 6000 CL30 super convenient timings, because that's boring. right? So it's just like, that's why all of the memory overclocks I do are always like, oh, it's like 6200, but it's CL26, or it's 6400, but it's CL26, because otherwise it's just not interesting for me to make it into a video. Um, You know, I'm really surprised that considering the Fury X used an interposer for the HBM stacks like years ago, right? Like that card was like 2015 or something, right? So we've had silicon interposers. Like AMD's had silicon interposers since yeah, 2015. So AMD's had silicon interposers since 2015, which completely solve the density problem for interconnects, right? Like HBM is 1,024 bits per stack of HBM. The Fury X has a 4,096 bit memory bus. And then you look at how Ryzen connects the Infinity Fabric to the I/O die, and it uses PCIe. Like, it's not literally PCIe, but it's like a stripped down version of PCIe because, like, they didn't want to pay for silicon. um, which I just find, like, yeah, like, I am surprised. Like, I'm also, like, you'd think even for, like, at least the data center parts or something, right? But, like, no, everything Ryzen is running basically a modified version of like the PCIe interface for the Infinity Fabric through a regular boring, you know, substrate material. And it's like, but you've had a silicon interposer since 2015. Why don't you use it? And then Intel comes out with Arrow Lake, which technically has a silicon interposer, and it sucks massively. Oh well, I guess when AMD finally like ports the Infinity Fabric to a like silicon interposer, um, it'll be like the biggest limitation that AMD has with their Infinity Fabric, in my opinion, is that they've been like forcing it to run on a substrate for like forever, and it'll be like the chains getting removed. You're no longer going to be like, oh, well, if we make because the funny thing is, like, there are EPYC CPUs that have 2 Infinity Fabric links to per CCD, and they're like special high per core bandwidth EPYC chips. Right? And those are like, and those exist because there are certain applications where it's like, yeah, you actually just, like, even on the EPYC chips, like, you'll just slam into the Infinity Fabric bottleneck. On Ryzen chips, you hit it, like, it's not even like, the Infinity Fabric bottleneck isn't even on the CCD end. It's inside the I/O die. It's super narrow, which kind of makes sense because it's like, you can't, like, even if the I/O die end of it wasn't super narrow, the CCD end would still be a problem. The EPYC chips aren't so the EPYC chips kind of avoid that, but then there's like special EPYC chips where it's like, oh yeah, okay, we connect 2 Infinity Fabric links to a CCD. And so it's like, and so even on like the EPYC chips, it's like, well, once you have a silicon interposer, you won't have to worry about how many connections you're running to a CCD because the connection density is going to be sky high. Anyway, I think I'll do one last submission and that'll be at the end. So we've got a 7800X3D. Seen this before? Oh, okay, so you've just pushed it to a 102 BCLK. Oh man, that SOC voltage. Yeah, this is really at the limit, isn't it? 63, 24, 26, 35, 35, 35, 35, 70, 5, 5, 20, 3, 12. Damn, those WTRs. 48, 380, 5, 1. And it is single rank, and then 65,000. Well, that is a Yeah, like if you want to push your 7800X 3D as far as it goes, this is certainly one of the ways to do it. Timings look good. I'm not going to complain about this. Yeah. You know, I guess my daily system, I could just run BCLK instead of trying to get the ECLK to work. This is one of my frustrations, is like Gigabyte technically has ECLK on the X670 Master. There's just one issue with it. If you use ECLK overclocking, it breaks memory training. So, you don't actually want to use it. And the thing is, it doesn't always break memory training. It only breaks it sometimes. But once it's broken, you need to clear CMOS and literally set everything up again. And there's like a specific procedure you have to go through in order for it to not break. And it's just a massive pain. And it's like, yeah, you know, actually, it probably would be more convenient to just run 102 BCLK instead of messing with ECLK on my daily system. Though my 7800X3D's memory controller is so bad that BCLK might actually force me to run like 1.3 SoC. Oh man. My luck with CPUs is truly incredible. Well, at least my 9950X is good in 1-to-1 mode. Is RDNA2 overclockable? Is it not? RDNA2 is 7000 series, right? I've not been... No, RDNA2 is 6000 series. I am confused. 5700 XT is kind of clunk, as far as I know. 6900 XT is very overclockable if you get the unlocked version. Wait, that is RDNA2. Yeah, so the problem with RDNA2 is a lot of the lower end cards have a bunch of like limits on the clocks that you can set. So, you know, that kind of screws your overclocking. In 7000 series, I think like 7700, 7800 have a lot of headroom. 7900 GRE is kind of locked down. Like they removed the memory limit, but I don't know if like I think the core is still limited. And then 7900 XT and XTX are unlimited. So yeah, AMD's being Intel with their GPU. Like yeah, like AMD's GPU division is pulling an Intel basically. It's funny how like bad strategies seem to spread throughout the industry. And I do believe my YouTube tab has like, is chat dead or has my YouTube tab actually crashed again? If you in chat, please, I think it crashed. Yeah, I am relatively certain it crashed. So that might be it for today's stream. Because I said I'd keep going until the chat crashes again. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for all the super chats. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description that you could check out. That would be much appreciated. And that's it. So thanks for watching and goodbye.